Um, hey Ash, we're live.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey Ash.
Hey. All right. So we are back this week, right?
I think we're
Gone.
back.
Yeah, I think so. We were kind of gone last week because we were a little under the weather. Yeah, it was her. She
hmm
was under the weather. And so, however, when we left, we were talking about Love is Blind. It was kicking off a blog. We're not gonna spend too much time on that, right?
hmm
But did the people see the reunion? And were there still a lot of red flags there?
So y'all, before Nisi Poo dives right in, this song was all up and through my spirit, as the old folks say,
What
and it's so
song?
interesting. It's interesting. I say the old folks. I am the old folks. Okay, I am the old folks. So y'all know our white prophetic brother Bobby Caldwell,
Oh
brother
God.
Bobby. So we're talking about red flags, and how much do we take? When is enough enough?
Yes.
So Bobby Caldwell says, "You guys got to know this song." He starts it out with, "I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within. I came
Sure.
back to let you know I got a thing for you, and I can't let go."
What if he
Well,
was
my
talking
friends
about
wonder. My friends wonder what
God?
is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see.
Infatuation.
I came back to let you know, got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Sounds
You
stalkerish,
need to
right?
let go.
Wait, wait.
Let go, friend.
The chorus says, "What you won't do for love.
Oh,
You
really?
tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, the whole world, there's only you.
Oh, really?
Make me do for love what I would not do." That's prophetic brother Bobby. So
Toxic brother Bobby.
so when we talk about that song was just, it kept coming in my head, made me do for
That song
love what
made
I
you
would.
think about AD and Clay.
It totally did, because we're talking about this red flags and identifying them. So tonight, Ashley, I want to focus on the millennial perspective, because I know what we old folks think mhm, about love,
Spicy.
and then from a
But you gonna
perspective.
ask me, and I'm married.
It don't matter, because it applies to marriage too. Like, how much is enough? What do we do? What do we tolerate? What do we say? Bruh, take you and your red flags over there to that stop sign and get on away from me. Get on
Mhm.
up and out of here. So I want to talk a lot about, before we dive in. Yes, AD and Clay, and at the reunion, he's professing his love to her and all this stuff,
Yes,
and she was all
she's
giddy.
really my soulmate. She's
She was
really
very giddy,
now.
and
Okay, honestly, I'm not
mhm,
gonna lie to you. I
mhm.
felt like some of it was
Put on, fake.
no. I felt like some of it was honest.
Okay,
There was
some of his or
a
hers or both.
his.
Okay.
However, you still got a question, even though it's you saying all of these things. Why still haven't you made a move? Or why don't you just keep all of it to yourself until you're ready?
And I can't get over, and for me, this is the red flag. I cannot get over, sorry guys, the fact
Uh-huh.
that you knew the premise of this show.
That part.
In knowing the premise, you knew you weren't ready. Like,
That
when I
part.
see the requirements of what I'm going to do, and at the end of the show, I should be coming out with a fiance or wife, really wife. If I'm not ready, why go on the show?
That's true.
And so for me, that's the biggest red flag. You knew you weren't ready. I'm
Mhm.
tired of fix a man. You got the box with the man that comes in, fix a dude, so that here comes the woman and she's got a fixer upper. I'm
Hey,
so over that space in life.
yes.
I want some ready-made stuff.
Yes.
I'm
Haraba.
tired of the from scratch men
Oh,
or
you talking about
women
the right. You got the bake
or
the
women.
cake. You got the bake the cake
Girl, give
instead
me
of the
Betty
cake.
Crocker.
Instead of the cake being already made with the icing.
I will even do Betty Crocker. I will even do Duncan Hines. I will go that far. But
you ain't going to get no flour, no eggs, no sugar,
Swans
no
Down.
I
think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Why we got to do all that? Why we got to recreate? Dude, your mama should have put enough ingredients in you to where,
she didn't put enough ingredients in them. And
your daddy, not just mama, but daddy too.
He was swiping the ingredients that the mama was putting in.
I am so and then I felt disappointed. And I don't know, we don't know these people, right? We don't know what the situation is. Some people say they are still dating.
Trevor.
And who? Oh, Trevor, girl.
Okay, but anyway, you continue.
We're skipping. But I wanted, even though she said you played all up in my face, it was too much of the giddies and the touching of him.
Yes,
and
you want to know why? Because they're too busy being flirty friends.
And that's my point. We cannot take a stand and then sit down.
Yes.
Because we're not taken seriously. Because the one thing that I know about relationships for sure, when you let someone off the hook, and I'm not talking about just forgiveness and giving a person a pass for not being perfect. None of us are perfect. We make mistakes. But when it is intentional behaviors and you give the person a pass and you allow them to play in your face, guess what they're going to
keep on playing in your face.
Bingo, bango.
Because in his head now, you're going to always be here.
Because you want me. Because you want me. And you show me you don't mean what you say. You don't. Because if you did, you would have not cussed me out, but to the left,
but
to the
what
left.
What I see happening is, and I understand that space where you she feel like she has built the connection with this person. It's hard to let go. She's willing to date other people, but I can also see him coming in there like, you dating this man in front of my face and blah, blah. And if she dumped somebody else for him to waste her time, I would be even more mad. But it's almost like in her head, she wants to play the field because her being a one-woman man has not quite worked for her. So she gonna play a little bit with Clay, and she gonna she gonna date other people until something serious comes around.
And so here's the problem, or not even a problem. Here's oh my gosh, I pushed this up way too far. Now I look like I'm down here like Auntie for real. Wait, segue. That reminds me of something too. Kev on stage talking about Monique and her husband being down here on. Oh my gosh!
He had the nerve to put himself up.
On top, like all the space on top. I was trying to fix my camera when you were talking, but here's the problem with that. And I'll fix my camera in a second, guys. Here's the problem: you want to date other people. But also you were on a show to get married. This is not just, we went on a dating show.
Void of your presence.
Exactly the point.
He needs to be void. Like he needs to be so void of your presence. And though they talk about they flirty friends, to me, what that mean is y'all still juicing.
What that means is
juicing.
Did you say juicing? See, this is why we need the show. I don't know what juicing means. I know friends with benefits. So see.
Or as who used to say this? Somebody I used to watch, they used to say they frocking. Oh, Larry Reed.
You talking about Larry Reed? Oh, that man is messy. But okay. Yeah, so we don't want to spend too much time on Andy and Clay. But yeah, just, when we need to mean what we say and say what we mean and mean what we say. And when we don't, then we can't later turn around and say, be a Risa Tisa. He victimized me. He did this. He did that. But we see the flags, the glaring, blaring flags. And it's up to us to say, stop, go, proceed with caution. Right?
But then my next question is this. Mm-hmm. When you have somebody in your face telling she really is the love of my life. I'm just not ready. Listen, I'm just not ready. When is enough enough?
That's the point.
When do you let go?
And that's the point. That is the bigger issue. Like, because people, unless we are victims, and I mean real victims, where somebody has grabbed you and forced you into something, somebody's victimizing you. We're not talking about that right now. Just the regular person in a regular life that is not being victimized, who is making their own choices and having the freedom to come and go as they please and make decisions and be with whom they desire. When we are those people, we have to make the decision of, okay, is this tolerable or not? Is this a red flag? And I really want to dive into this. And for those of you out there, thanks so much for being here. Comment in the chat, please. We'd like to know what you think a red flag is. What are some of your red flags? But what's the difference in a red flag and a preference? And once we align that, and I want to go back to that question, Ashley, once I know what some of my red flags are. So I know automatically off the bat, if I see it, sense it, discern it, my intuition is talking to me, screaming at me, I'm out. That's it. No, you're not it. And that doesn't mean necessarily or per se that there's something wrong with you. That merely means you're not good for me. And if I'm with a person who is not good for me, guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to be good for them either.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to be constantly fighting against what I truly want compared to what I have. So if you're getting this lesser version of me because I'm operating from a place of my needs not being met, my desires not being fulfilled, of settling. That's really what I should say. So if I'm fighting from this place of settling, you're not getting the best version of me.
Exactly.
So what would you consider to be a red flag versus a mere preference? What are some of yours?
I think more of the red flags for me are centered around thoughts around like, I don't want to say positions, but like functions, right, of the man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's too like far
roles, are we talking about roles?
Roles, yes.
Okay.
If it's too far to the like woman do what I want you, I'm out.
Misogyny,
control, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have no friends,
mm-hmm.
I'm out. Like those are my red flags. You don't know how to treat your friends,
I'm
out. You don't take care of your kids,
girl.
If you did have children,
preach.
You know, like all of those things. If you don't have a relationship like with your parents, and this is what I mean, or what I'm going to say is, if you don't have a actual legitimate reason as to why you don't have a relationship with your parents, I'm out.
And I'm so happy you prefaced that with a legitimate reason, because I've heard so many people say, you know how a person's going to treat you based on how they treat their family. And a red flag is if, this person's out here trying to date, but they don't have a relationship with their mother and their father and this, that, and the other. You don't know where people have been, what they've gone through.
Exactly.
Because I am the poster child for that. But that is because with both my mother and my father, my mother's deceased, as you know, but even before she was deceased, I hadn't spoken to her in years, because that relationship was extremely toxic, and that relationship stripped me of even my worth and my desire to live. So I had to choose me for real in that situation. And someone meeting me saying, well, wait a minute, she don't talk to her mother or her father. Well, for over a decade, my father was in prison. Then when he wasn't in prison, he was raping me. So trigger warning, too late for that. But why would anybody have a relationship with that person? So it's, I'm glad you said, if there's not a legitimate reason, because sometimes there is, unfortunately.
Yes. So yes, those are all like big blaring red flags for me. Any control, like any type of like
abusive behavior.
Because when I go to jail, it's gonna be for killing you. I mean for unaliving you. I'm very sorry.
Triggers all over the place. We are problematic.
For unaliving you.
I hate that term. This is so goofy. Anyway, yeah. So okay. So
what about you?
Well, the same. That abusive stuff, and I would also add a viable, healthy person who is not willing to work.
Oh,
Red
yes.
flag. Mm-mm.
Yes, red
Bye, bruh.
flag.
Because I have one child and she grown,
And
and
not the fake
I don't
kind of
have any more
grown, like
kids.
the kid, like got
No,
children, husband
children,
grown. Right.
husband, house, all the things.
Exactly.
I'm not raising anybody else. So
Yes.
definitely, in addition to what you said, the abusive behavior, the controlling, the misogyny.
Yes.
And the misogyny goes deep, especially from the church. I hate to say it, but
Yes.
I'm going to say it.
Oh,
Speak the
yes.
truth and
And
shame
so
the
I was
devil.
gonna add to that. Too religious. I'm out.
Girl.
That's why I married me a good old heathen that wanted to see the Lord.
Oh,
Bye. Hello.
did she just call that man a
Gave me a saved heathen. Bye. God is good.
I cannot. I'm out. No. And that's another thing. Like, so we might be veering off a little bit because you just threw something into my mind, because a lot of times when we talk about, some of the things, our requirements, our expectations, some of the things we want, what's on your list, when you think about the perfect guy or the perfect girl or the perfect whatever, you have your list.
Right.
And often believers, Christians, I'll speak for us because I is us, okay? Because I am us. Often, and this is something myself and my sister had to process and flesh out, we say, I want a God-fearing man.
Yes.
We have to be a little more specific, because it's a lot of folk that say they fear God,
but
and
they
they're out here living like the devil. So, the whole concept of a red flag, when we talk about highly religious, if that's a red flag for you, then when you see this man coming and he's the pastor of the church, and even though he checks off all these other things on the list, is that really a red flag for you, or is that a preference?
No, that's a red flag for me, friend. That's a big red flag. Because I see so many highly religious people cheat on their wife,
absolutely,
do things that you wouldn't think that highly religious
lie,
people,
steal, and cheat. All the things.
Because they have a form of godliness
and deny the power thereof.
Thank you.
Yes and amen. So
all right, let's get
we're not
on
gonna focus
to
on that.
Topic.
So
all right,
my
friend.
next one. So we talked about defining red flags, kind of, and red flags versus preferences.
Okay.
I have watched so many things on TikTok lately because I haven't been feeling well. So I've been kind of disconnecting because I needed to get my health together. But I saw something, and I don't know who it was, whose page they talked about. It was a man talking about how he's the gift. In the relationship, he is the gift. Well, I'm going to share my thoughts first, and then I'll let you. I was going to defer to you. I know. I've heard this debate so often, and it's really kind of silly to me. But I think, and this is just my almost 52-year-old thoughts, not that age brings wisdom, but it should. I think we should both be gifts to each other. If you are in any relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship, a familial family relationship, whether that's a friendship relationship, even in my belief and my trusting God and my relationship with God, it is twofold. It's not just me going to God, sitting on his lap like he's Santa Claus. Santa, please bring me. No, it is me investing time with God, me acknowledging God. When he does something for me, I say, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Right. I don't just take ownership of my own life completely. Now there's work to do with the faith, right? Exactly. Faith and works have to marry. God is not a magician, but I do my part. And then I acknowledge him in all things. Acknowledge him and I acknowledge him, and that's a twofold thing. He's doing his part, I'm doing my part. So in that, we're both gifts to each other. Like, it's not just some dude, my husband is my gift to me. Stop playing with me. We should both be adding value and being the gift to each other. We should both, in one way or another, and in relationships, understanding adult relationships, understanding that the dynamic shifts sometimes. Sometimes he's more of a gift in this area and I'm more of a gift in that area. And it fluctuates and it rotates and there's ebbs and flows in relationship. So whereas, you may be giving tangible gifts constantly, you may be in a position or a role with your friends where you're no longer able to give the tangible gift. Well, then what happens? Do they stop being your friend because
Friends.
you're not
Mhm.
working, so you can't give like you used to? Do they? No, you should have invested so much in that relationship that they understand they can pull from the reserve. They can say, wait a minute, I know her heart. I know his heart. I
Exactly.
know that. And even in that romantic relationship, if that person is going through, I'm in menopause. I was calling it Perry, girl, I'm in menopause. I'm in menopause. So there are some things about me, and it's one of the things that my sister and I talked about years ago. I was like, people have this misconception of marriage and what
Yes.
it is. Marriage is not what you see on Instagram,
No.
the highlight reel. It's we're vacationing in Paris, and we're doing. No, sometimes it's grimy. Sometimes you don't like the person. That's the truth of the matter. But you should have given so much so that there is a reserve established where you can go back and reflect on that person's character when it's
Right.
bumpy and say, hey, wait a minute. They're
Exactly.
not the best of themselves right now because of a season they're in. But I understand because they've been such a gift to my life. They've been such a blessing. I
Mhm.
understand this person's level of integrity and
Integrity.
character.
Mhm.
So that tied you over,
Yes.
right? So that you don't walk away in those times. And that's not a red flag. And that's what I mean. That's why I really wanted to talk about the red flag thing,
Right.
because you can be in a weird season in your marriage and
You
then be
can
walking
be.
around talking about this is red flag. He
But
giving red
then
flags.
also, what is the difference between a red flag and a preference?
Oh, that's the point. Like you kind of talked about that, but for me, I'll define it for me. I can't remember the name of my disorder. I need to look it up again because I just found out what it was called like about
Oh my
7 years
God.
ago. But no,
Okay.
it's a real disorder. I mean,
Okay.
when I say I'm not being funny, it is a real disorder.
Okay.
I cannot contraction. I can't be in a room with open mouth chewers and people who smack when they eat or talk with food in their mouths. I have literally had flashes of doing horrible things to people. I mean, serious, it's bad. No, it is. There is a whole disorder,
I
and
know how to get you.
I
I'm just
didn't
gonna
know.
call and I'm gonna have somebody. I'm just like,
I will hang up so fast. All of that. Oh my!
oh,
You
you
want to
can
get rid of
never be
me?
around my mama. Oh
No, I
my
could not.
God.
I could
My
not.
mom.
If she does that,
Oh
I will
Jesus.
remove myself. I won't say anything rude to the person. I will remove myself from the room. I'll never forget when Antoine and I were, I don't know if we were engaged, but Taylor had come to town and I cooked and he was over and he was chewing and she looked at me. She mouthed like, are you okay? Because I kept leaving the room and I was just like, okay, turn up the TV to do distract because it makes
So
me.
it's like I married my mama. My husband is an open mouth chewer. My mother is, but
Oh,
me and Leah, like we close our mouth when we chew.
oh.
But it's been times we like, Ma, like, come on now.
I can't listen. Yeah. So one of the things though, that's a preference for me. That's
That
not a
is.
red flag. I could have looked at that, even though I know mentally, y'all
So
call me
what
what
answer
you
would
want.
be like this?
Listen, listen, wait. One day, we were watching something and a commercial, or I don't know if it was a special, something came up and I was like, that's it. And we've been married. I told you it'll be 12 years in May.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that's what's wrong with me. That is the disorder right there. Because I'd never looked it up. I just thought Michelle is a little too, no, it's really a disorder. And he understood it, I think, better when he saw, oh, this is a real thing. This is not just her being weird.
Right, weird, yeah.
Hey,
So,
Nina said it's called selective sound sensitivity syndrom. Girl, it's one word. That might be it too, but it's one word. And I used to know the word. Nina, please look it up. Sound noises, mouth noises, and a disorder. Look it up like that. But thank you, Nina. I'm so glad she's here. But it drives me. And one of my close friends, Tanisha. And so here's the thing. We talk about preferences and red flags. That's not a red flag. That's a preference of mine.
That is a preference.
So then in my responsibility within that preference, within that issue is to communicate.
Yes.
That's it. Misophonia. Thank you, Nina. I knew she'd
Misophonia. Okay.
misophonia. I suffer. Wait, my name's Michelle, and I suffer from misophonia.
Oh God, bless the Lord. Don't let him
Serious,
fall.
it's bad. I have seen in my head me throwing him over the balcony. I've had all types of like just it's bad. So I have to breathe
So does he
in through the
like
nose.
be like,
But wait, that's the point. I have to communicate. So I did. I told him, listen, to really mitigate issues between us that are unnecessary, please close your mouth when you chew when we're having or we can eat in separate rooms. I won't
right?
be
But when we go
angry.
out to eat or something, please just remember.
Please. So he knows me so well now. If he's doing it, I can kind of look at him like, and he'll stop. He'll close his mouth. And for someone else, they may think she's so controlling. No, this is a preference, and it will really damage our relationship if you are just, well, she gonna accept me as I am.
Yeah.
No, I'm a person that's highly sensitive to respecting other people and their boundaries.
Right.
So if he told me something that I'm doing, babe, you do this all the time. Can you focus on not doing that? I'm gonna focus on
I'm not doing it.
exactly. Yeah. So that's definitely a preference of mine. So what about you? Any other preferences that I have? There are certain little things like
do I got any preferences?
Some women, they prefer that a man is chivalrous and he opens doors.
So I'm gonna say this. I think you go through phases.
Mm-hmm.
So when me and Vince first started dating, I didn't really care about all of the chivalry because I knew what it was for somebody to placate and they not really be who they are.
It's not them.
But now that we're 7 years in,
mm-hmm.
I do tell him like, hey, I would like a little bit more chivalry, you know, like I know who you are. So you can like start doing the things. And he like, I mean, and we've talked about it. My husband is not, and I don't want to say it like this, but gentleman-like qualities they don't come very natural for him. Is he a provider? Yes. But being a provider and being chivalrous they're not equivalent. If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense because how old is he?
My husband just turned, I'm going to be 30. So he just turned 33.
So he's a millennial too.
Yes.
And so that makes sense, right? Because my generation, you know, I don't want to have to qualify this. My generation, my mother's generation, generally speaking, boys were taught to be chivalrous. They were taught to open doors and do all this thing. Y'all's generation is different. And that's because of what we put in you, right? So, or didn't put in you. We thought, oh, that's stupid, so I'm not going to pass this on to the next generation. So it makes sense that he might not be as chivalrous. It might not be second nature. And then also, you know, if you had a father in the house, that might determine it too. So there's a lot of determining factors. But for me, here's the thing. I was single for so long. I don't need all of that stuff. Like sometimes it is just easier for us both to walk to our respective parts of the car, our respective doors, and get in.
And we keep
as opposed to, and in Chicago, girls standing outside waiting for a man to go around to your door to open. I can just get in the car and you can get in the car. We can pull off. Like it's cold outside. Who wants all? So,
but I'm also. I think I'm going to say this. Some things that would have been a red flag for some women in our relationship. So like, I don't know if I talked about this, but like in a month and a half into us talking, he got into a bad accident.
Oh.
So he didn't even have a car.
Okay.
But he also wasn't asking me to pick him up every day. He would take the bus to my house. He would take the bus to work, like the train to work, everything. And even when he was in my car, he still would give me gas money. Like some women be like, girl, he ain't got no car, he ain't blah, blah, so and so. Now, I think if there would have been another way that he would have went, right, which was a more entitled way, like you ain't gonna blah, blah, then things would have been different, right? But that's not how it was.
And that is because red flags are they're very person specific, based on your value system, based on what you value. Like there were things, especially in the beginning with my husband and I, some women would be like, wait, what? He didn't have this. No, he didn't. But now we're in a season where I'm not working physically. He's the breadwinner, right? He's the one taking care, because I saw it wasn't just, what's the word? You see potential. It wasn't even a matter of potential. It was, we had conversations about certain things, because I think he was working in the beginning, but he didn't have a car. And it was these kind of things where it's like, okay, how important is that for me? Right. And so, but in social media society, he's a bum and you settled and you so-and-so. That's based on your value system. Oh, that's based on what you desire. And things do not create character. No. Things are the lack thereof. They do not create character. So some of the things that we're putting value in, the woman, months ago that you brought up about, what was the restaurant?
Cheesecake.
The Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, so girl.
You would pass on potentially a great man because he wanted to take you to the Cheesecake Factory?
Even though you were late anyway?
You were late, and you would pass on potentially a great man, but then choose the man who's taking you to the, 5-star restaurant who's cheating on you or talking crazy to you. Like, I don't
care about appearances
and not integrity. Yeah. And not depth, no depth, no character, no.
This is the word to the wise. Mm-hmm. The Bible talks about how when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing
and obtains favor of the Lord.
And obtains favor from the Lord. Mm-hmm. Let me help you out. The right woman will upgrade a man's life.
Absolutely.
And that's just what it is.
And the right man too, because we can go into all the scriptures that talks about the male perspective and what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to lay down his life for his wife, right? So if a man is laying down his life, come on, he's making life better for me. And that doesn't mean he's literally running in front of cars doing stupid stuff. That means that sometimes he understands, the right man, that husband, he understands this might not be what I want to do right now, but I'm laying down my desires to please and make my wife happy. That is scripture.
Yes.
So we are
happy
both.
Wife and happy life is not.
Yeah. I don't like that statement, but
a lot of people don't like that statement.
I don't like it only because it goes back to which one of us is the gift. I think we're both the gifts. We should both be making each other.
We are both.
We should both be increasing each other's happiness, because nobody can make Michelle happy.
Exactly.
Nobody can. But you can add to my happiness. You can increase my level of happiness. So we should both be doing that. So he should be happy too. He should be running home from work, which he does, right?
And right.
He could be out all time. I have never had to look for my husband.
Me
never.
Either.
Not one time. I have never. He got off work at 3, but I don't see him till 9 p.m. Not up in here.
Exactly.
Not up in here.
And if I'm a little bit too, he was like, "Well, you told me you'll be home at 12. You
exactly.
Good? You
get messages. You okay?
Exactly.
And it's not in a controlling way.
No, it's not.
You're 30 minutes over. No. Okay, so we have established who the gift is. Okay. So do you think with the red flags, because we are both believers, and this is not exclusive to just believers, but in Christianity, we are heavily focused on forgiveness. What kind of impact do you think forgiveness has on?
I think we're very focused on reconciliation.
Oh, Suki. I was hoping you said that, because that's my thing, right? There's a difference between forgiveness and reconciliation, because you can forgive without reconciling. You can. It can be done. You can shake the dust from your feet, forgive them, wish them no ill will, love them from afar.
I think the Bible is focused on forgiveness. I think the church is focused on reconciliation.
But they call it forgiveness, and that's a problem.
And the thing about it is I honestly, forgiveness means that I don't hold that same angst, right, against you. It doesn't mean that it didn't hurt.
And it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yes, but I'm wiping you of that offense. That does not mean that the trust is back. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that the same care is back.
And it doesn't mean that the relationship continues.
Exactly.
There are some severs that need to happen in your life.
It's like, hey, girl, bye, girl.
From a distance. She is not all up and through your business. You're not going out to lunch together, but you mean her no ill will. You might even think about her and pray for her every now and again, or him. No, I get that. And I agree with that. I'm so glad you win 5 stars for that. No, because it's true. And I want the church, as we grow and develop, and I think we do have to give the institution of the church, which is going to bring me to a whole nother topic, right? Because we've been on red flags, but I think we've beat this to death. But I think we have to give the church a little more grace. Now, we are the body of Christ, so we are the church, but the institution of the church, I want them to be able to get it right. When we talk about forgiveness, that we differentiate what is forgiveness and what is reconciliation. And does forgiveness always have to include reconciliation? And that's part of the issue, the bondage that, well, if you forgive, you should be able to have that same relationship, and you should be able to still be in, and you should still be. And it's generally pointed at the woman from the man's perspective.
Yes,
the misogyny part, right? It's generally, well, he cheated, you can forgive him, but the Bible tells me I can divorce that loser. Okay,
tell it up, and then I'll be real ghetto with it. I'll be like, God, let her fast somebody in the congregation so he can really feel bad.
You are a mess.
But that's just me. Y'all don't follow me. Don't do that. But yeah.
Oh, wait. I got to go back to the red flags. So you asked me about my red flags. I said all of yours. Plus I said, if a joker won't work, that's an old person word. That joker right there. That joker right there.
Wait, joker work. And heifer.
Heifer. Oh, girl, heifer. And it used to be mannish. Now we don't even talk about mannish anymore. No, they got a right to be.
I couldn't even say the word funky. My grandma said that was too close to the cuss word.
Excuse me. I couldn't say lie. I had to say tell a story.
Tell a story.
Tell a story.
Telling a story.
We writing books. What do we do? Nighttime story? What is this? I'm confused. Tell a story. What does that mean?
Couldn't call an adult by their first name.
Absolutely not. Auntie. Well, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. Y'all couldn't call an adult by their first name.
Oh, I could not.
I called my mother, who was Juanita. I called her Nita. I called my aunties by their first name.
Oh, my
not because I was disrespectful, but because that's what I was taught to do.
Oh, wow.
Because think about it. Could your child be walking around at 4 years old calling you by Ash? No, you would correct him. I heard people around me.
My name.
Of course, I knew all kids should know, but I was around adults all the time, and my mother never corrected me. She never said, "Mom, mommy, call me," but she never wanted to be my mother in the first place, so that made sense. So I called her Nita. Anyway, going back. So, do you think? Oh, yes, red flags. So, where do we draw the line? Because that's the part that I wanted to say. In addition to the joker won't work. You can tell early on in a relationship, early on in dating, you can generally get the discernment, the inclination of whether a person is faithful or not. If this joker, if you have conversations about, what's your body count? And I don't know if everybody has that conversation.
The body count? Oh, God.
Body count. How many people you slept with? How long you've been dating? And you can ask, you don't have to ask it that way. But if it's a large body count, that person might have a problem with fidelity, with being faithful. So for me, that's a red flag. Like I come to you and you telling me it's like 50, 60 people. Bruh, thanks, but no thanks. I'm out.
But I
don't care if he's a reformed hoe. I don't care.
Sometimes.
Well, you can just like and sometimes go on to someone else because. Listen, it's not just the sowing of the wild oats. It's not just I want to control his past. None of that. But it is the complications that come along with that.
For sure.
So if you tell me you got
because it's making me think that you ain't got no control over your member.
Self-control, girl. Self-control is an issue, and self-control will continually be an issue with you. Now you may overcome it
because Because
You won't
marriage
overcome
does
it. You will
nothing
not
but
overcome it
no,
at
marriage does
my
nothing but
cost.
highlight deficiencies. It
Absolutely.
really,
It
really
puts a
does. It
mirror
does
and a
not,
spotlight.
it does not like it's not a magic pill. You know, it does nothing but highlight. So let me help you out. I mean, and I went to a very transparent church, and I remember this one guy getting up, and he was a leader of the church. And at the time, he talked about how back in the day before he got married, he liked the same sex. And when he got married, some of those things were, those feelings and stuff were still there. And in his head, you know, I'm getting married to do the right things, blah, blah, so and so, so and so. And then when I get married, none of this stuff will be here. He said, when I got married,
it
worse.
got
worse.
Of course.
Because that's marriage does nothing but shine a big fat light.
There are things about me, and I say this to anyone who will listen and who will ask. There are things about me that I didn't know until I got married. And this is my second marriage. I think marriage highlights you in a way. You're in these close confines with this person that you can't just say, can you get out? You can't just do that.
You can't.
I'm an introvert. I like my space. That's another thing. Like, since I'm a severe introvert, well, why isn't an extrovert a red flag for me? My husband is an extrovert. That boy can talk, and he loves people. He loves people.
Yes, what I understand is like opposites. They just
they attract to some degree. And this is the part that I was going to get to. It had to be a conversation. It is a preference for me, not necessarily. I would say my real preference would be an ambivert, someone right in the middle. Right. But I have an extrovert. So because I have an extrovert, it wasn't a red flag. It was still one of those preference things, but I had to have a conversation with him. Listen. And we had a real conversation. I was like, listen, I can be in a room and be quiet for 12 hours, sitting right next to a person. And I have zero issues with it because so much is going on in my head. I'm having about 17 conversations in my head.
Now, see, me and Vince work because he's the extroverted introvert.
And that's like an ambivert.
I'm an ambivert.
That's literally like
an ambivert. So y'all are almost the same. Vince would be like, yeah, so blah, blah. We go different places. He randomly talking to people and all kind of stuff. And I'm not as... like, I will a little bit, but nah.
See, so I will because and we've talked about this before. I have put in the work to come out of my shell because I know I'm the person going in a room, especially with people I don't know, and I'll sit in the back and just observe
I will too,
and not say anything. But because I know that is almost a debilitating thing, and because I know that I'm making my world really small, I have put in the work to find comfort in the discomfort. Right. It's uncomfortable for me to go outside of my shell and be the person who, you know, addresses and approaches people. That's very uncomfortable. But I've done so much work over the years that I will do that. So, but it's still not my comfort level. It's not my place of familiarity. It's not the place where I thrive to be, right? It's just the place that I forced myself into. But here's the thing. I had a conversation with him and I said, hey, listen, because I want us to succeed. And I'm seeing these things that could be an issue. He comes into, you know, I would host events and he's all over the room. You've seen it. Ash was a speaker at one of my events. He's all over the room. He met your husband talking. They're kicking
he's talking to everybody.
Talking to everybody. And I'm like, okay, I'm a speaker. I'm hosting this event. Let me just do what I have to do. When I'm done and I'm off the stage, I'm ready to run and go home. People want to talk, hug, all of that. I had to tell him because I want us to win. You are an extrovert. You're up here. I am an introvert and I'm a severe one. I'm down here. There are going to be times where you have to come down and times where I have to come up. There are going to be times where I am just in my introverted state and I'm losing energy because I'm communicating and I'm on. I am just depleted of energy. I am just like, oh, please leave me alone. There are times people call me and I know it's because they love me and I love them, but it's just like, I don't have it. I don't want it.
Just
get away.
Alone,
just go now. Go. Too much energy. But there are times, because that's part of being in a relationship and being an adult and understanding that you are to make people's lives better. There are times I have to come up.
Right.
But also too, though, this world, and we've talked about this before, I believe that I feel like, and I've experienced, this world tries to beat up on introverts and make us into extroverts. And it's like, no, if I can respect you being an extrovert and I can speak and talk, and when my cutoff is, you should respect that too.
No.
You should be able to, okay, she needs to
but
re-energize.
I think one of the problems is that, so because I can be very even keel, and I am an ambivert. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Blah blah, so and so. Because I know how to. But then also, and one of my bosses was like, you are kind of like hot and cold. And I'm like, it is what it is. God bless the people. Because in the morning I'm like, hey. And by the evening I'm like, close my door.
All energy depleted. I get it.
Close my door, friends.
All energy depleted. Yeah, I get it.
So he sleep. Okay, I'm sorry. We putting the 4-year-olds to sleep. Nevertheless, I think sometimes, because I work with people that are introverts, and it's nothing wrong with you being introverted. Sometimes some of them can be difficult, though. And what I mean by that is, like, it takes nothing for you to be just nice, right? I'm not looking for you to come out and be like, hey, girl, let's blah, blah, so-and-so,
So what do you mean by nice? Give me an example.
Sometimes I don't even speak.
Oh, see, that's different. And I'm you saw me, you might have seen me tense up a little bit when you said that, because
sometimes I don't even speak. You be
I look at when I was in high school and even as a child, and I was going through all these changes and all this stuff and this difficult household, dysfunctional stuff, trauma, drama, all the things, and also my personality, right? So I may not be the person to speak first, but if you speak to me, I'm going to speak.
Yes. I've went through
if
that
you
too.
look like you are embracing, like you know, I walk past you and you smile, I'm going to say, hey, how are you?
I went through that too. I have my moments as well. However, for the most part, it's good morning. How you doing? Blah, blah, so and so. But
do they speak back? Wait, do they speak back?
I've had moments where some people have not.
Okay, so that's not about being an introvert.
Yeah,
that's the difference. Because I'm not a person that's mean. I'm not a mean, that. I'm not a mean-spirited person. And people, I used to get all the time, when I first saw you, I thought you were stuck up because I was quiet.
Hey, like if I walk in the room, hey, so blah, blah, if we got something to, and instead of you saying, hey, right now, sometimes, and I'm more of a communicative person. All you gotta do is tell me like, hey, that ain't a good time. All right, I'm out. See you later. Instead of you just like ignoring, right?
That's not an introvert, though. Okay. I don't think that's an issue of being an introvert, because I'm a very...
so you think that those people are just rude?
I think those are rude people. I'm a very respectful, embracing, engaging person. You know this, right? Somebody's never talked to me and I'm like, what? I don't function like that. That's not about being an introvert. An introvert generally gets their energy and are more equipped to deal with their own space than by themselves and on their own terms. However, they're not rude. No, that's a rude person. That's a person that might not like you, right?
Yeah.
That got nothing to do with them being an introvert. I am revived. I'm replenished. I'm still a giving person. I'm a kind person. I'm respectful. I'm constantly thinking about people's feelings. So I come into a room or someone I am the person who has had to tell myself and teach myself to stop apologizing. My last, not the last role, but the one right before the last one, people would come in my office all the time, because even though I'm a severe introvert, again, I found comfort in being uncomfortable. I found comfort in the discomfort. People come into my office because they feel like, oh, she is so approachable. She's so caring. She's funny. She's this, she's that. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I wish they'd go. But I would be in my head thinking some things, but they never saw it. I was so warm and embracing and engaging and made them feel like the world revolved around them, because I'm not rude.
Right.
But a rude person would be like, what you want? You know, like
What
that
you
has
over
nothing to
here
do.
for?
Yeah, that has
You
nothing to
still
do with being an introvert. But I think this is good because for me, like I could have looked at it like he's a red flag. He's too friendly.
Yeah.
No, I simply had a
My
conversation
husband,
with my
yeah.
husband.
My husband is a little, I don't say a little bit, he's a lot more friendly than I am.
Mhm.
You know, he gonna talk to this person, this person, this person, this person. And in their head, they might think that him, like Vince and them are friends.
Yeah,
Vince don't be thinking.
that's him. Believe me.
He be like, oh yeah, that's the dude I know from blah blah. And they whole time they like, yeah, that's my friend Vince. He like, friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, but we both are those people. We do like our me time.
Mm-hmm.
We do both like our me time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you go over there, I go over here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm more of the person that I am an ambivert, and I'll be up here like, hey, and then when I get home, I'm like, oh, thank you.
Drained. And you know, I can't wait to be able to put on another event. I miss it so much, so many things. I love hosting events because I love pouring into people. I love having other speakers on the roster, and I love the event planning. I get fuel out of that. And when it's over, I want to go home. I don't want to hug and
like,
talk.
hey, girl.
I don't want to. No.
My
and
battery is not.
I'm depleted.
Yes.
But guess what? Again, finding comfort in the discomfort. I smile. I hug. I have photos all on my Facebook with people. I'm embracing. I'm engaging. They thought I was friendly. So people will argue with me like, "You're not an introvert." Listen, I lived almost 52 years with me. I know what I struggle with, but I also know how to find comfort in the discomfort.
But I think my other part, I seen my other.
Can you read her comment when you're done?
Yes. My other problem is that sometimes I could be so introverted that when it is time to talk, I'm motor mouth. That's my other problem. All right, here we go. Nina Nicole says, you all definitely covered a lot of red flags. No job starting out, too controlling, no hustle to be able to pay bills, put food on the table, don't have no connections with friends / family.
And I'm thankful that you read those. And all of these go back to something also that Ash said before. What was the term that I just love that you said without oh shoot, give it back, Ash. What was it?
You say?
We were talking about the family, and you said without
legitimate.
Yes.
A legitimate reason.
A legitimate reason. So all of these are with the caveats of without a legitimate reason. So these can be red flags for many people. No job starting out. If I meet you and you have no job, well, what's your reason? Why? Right. Were you just laid off? Because if I just say, well, I won't date a man, I'm not dating anybody because I'm married. But if, in my unmarried days, I won't date a man that don't have a job. But this man just got laid off yesterday.
Yeah, so that's a little bit different.
That's different. So it's the caveats. Too controlling. There's no caveat for that.
Now, this is the next thing that
is always a red flag.
So yeah, Nina, no job starting out. But what if he work at UPS? Are you okay with that? I'm just saying.
Oh, you mean the level of job?
Yeah, because some people might not be okay with the level of job, right?
One of the things, as we talk about, I'm glad you brought that up. I just saw Kev on stage, one of his podcasts. They were talking about, I can't remember, The Bald and the Beautiful. That's what it is. It's two married couples that have a podcast. And they were talking about how, because of social media, I promise, oh my God, I'm one of those people back in my day. I almost want to go to the day before social media, but because of social media, people have the highlight reel and they have these unrealistic expectations. They were talking about basketball wives and the basketball players. Some women, they are focused on being the basketball wife, right?
Exactly.
And in that, Are they basketball wife material? And then understanding that, well, this ball player, he might be unfaithful. So know what comes with the level of person you want. But also these people who the girl works for McDonald's, nothing wrong with working for McDonald's, but she's a cashier at McDonald's, yet she wants a man making $1 million a year. Would y'all please stop playing with me? Because I want him to be able to take me across. Stop playing with me, please. Stop. So even as you, Ash, talk about the UPS guy, well, what level are you on? And then again, going back to where is your value system? What do you value? Because somebody might not value a man based on his job. She might not care about his money. She may make so much money. She like, as long as he works, I don't care where he works. Right. And that really, it really depends on value. So Nina has another comment here.
Okay. It's not the level of job. At least meet me halfway. And a lot of men want to lay up on women nowadays. And
girl, preach. Where is the, can you hear this? Wait.
No, we ain't heard. That sounds like little farts.
You said sound like little farts.
Little farts.
That's the barrel. Yes, Nina. Well, that's what I was trying to play for you, Nina. And Nina said, I'm not married, Ash. Yeah. No, but she's right. And again, that whole concept, like trusting your gut when you meet someone. Ask the questions. Knowing before you go out to meet someone, well, let me define what my red flags are. And then I can have a list. Red flags, preferences, right? Mm-hmm. And you focus on both. Like, okay, preferences. Once you get down the red flags list and say, oh, he's not meeting any of these red flags.
Exactly.
He's got all green flags. He's a go. But wait, on my preferences, he chews with his mouth open. He doesn't open car doors. Because I don't care about the open car doors, but Ash does. But preferences. Well, wait a minute.
Not in the beginning, I did not. Right.
Okay.
So every once in a while, I would open up my car door.
Yes, absolutely. And my husband, he'll do it anyway. And I'm like, no, you don't have to. He still does it. And I'm just like, okay, deep breaths, Michelle, because this is part of who he is. So just accept and receive, even if it's cold outside and you want to just run and open the door because you're standing right by the door, but you got to wait for him. Girl. Anyway, let that man be that man and receive what he's given, right? But also that we understand with the preferences, is this person an open person?
Yeah.
Because even if they don't have red flags, I'll go back to the chewing with his mouth open. What if Antoine was just a difficult person to receive any kind of correction?
Then that's a whole nother different thing.
Then that preference will become a red flag.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. You see how that works? Because now, we're eating every meal we eat. It's got to be in a different room because he refuses to close his mouth. Mm-hmm. Well, what kind of relationship is that going to be? And that can sound like such a small thing, but it's what does the scripture say? It's the little foxes.
The little foxes that destroy the vine.
Yeah, it's them little things that can grow and grow and grow. And now I'm looking at everything like he is not pliable. He is not respectful. He doesn't care about anyone but himself. And we're in divorce court, right? So
that's right.
Going through your preferences and seeing, okay, he's good. He's got all green flags. Now let me make sure this man cares about what I care about, cares about pleasing me. Mm-hmm. And I also have to show up caring about pleasing him.
Yes. And it's not one-sided.
A one-way.
Because the folks be one-sided.
Yes, they do. And that goes back to you're one-sided generally when you show up thinking you're the gift.
Yes.
But if we're both gifts, then we're both trying to make sure the other one is taken care of.
Yes. And you don't mind pleasing that person because that person doesn't mind pleasing you.
Which is honestly the definition of a relationship.
Yes, it is.
How one relates one to another. Isn't that simple? So simple, yet we make things so hard because it's about me. We're in a me-centered society. Me.
Yes.
And communication will alleviate a lot of the issues that you could have. I'm not talking about red flags. Red flags go the other way. That means stop. That literally means stop. It means do not proceed.
That part.
You see someone that has red flags, stop. Calmly, nicely, decline.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a bad man. You're just not my man.
That
You don't have
part.
to be a bad woman. You're just not
Not
my
my
woman.
woman.
It's okay.
Oh. You're
It's okay.
somebody else's. God bless.
God bless. Good night. Russell Simmons.
And I'm gonna say this. That is what I do honestly. Like that's what I do honestly. Admire about my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So like very early on, he realizes like this is not gonna work, and he is very upfront. Like, hey, look, we kind of are not agreeing on some of these things. I think we should just be friends. If you don't want to be friends, you know.
Now,
and
before
so
we go, Ash, I have to cut you off because I want to get this question in. I want your opinion on this. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Do you think there is ever a time where ghosting is okay? Because we're talking about dating. We're not talking about marriage and relationship.
Ghosting is. I don't like ghosting, but I think
in dating.
I don't like ghosting, but I think when that person is highly toxic, that might be the only option.
Got it.
But other than that, you know, I think that, you know, there have been viable reasons, you know, we've talked or whatever, and there have been viable reasons where him and that other person, they might both be like, hey, I think we would be better off as friends, right? Versus, and then we can both pursue whatever else we want to pursue. But I think he's one of the most honest people in this dating life, right? That I have seen, because it's rough out here.
You better be talking about from what you've heard, not what you know.
Oh,
married woman. Married woman.
From a lot of people that I know that are single.
Yes, what you've heard.
Yes, and they get to tell you these stories, and he like,
oh, I know, I've heard them. Believe me.
That's okay, baby. And wait, hold on. And me and Vince, we might have just had a little disagreement. I'd be like, I love you. You would bet.
When I tell you, hearing stories will make you level set real fast. Have you get a little of that act right on you?
Yes. You be like, oh.
I think I do
enjoy that. Like sometimes we'll talk, you know, and he'll be like, yeah, I think that person would be better off as a friend. Or I'll talk to some of my other friends, and they'll be like, hey, me and this person decided that we're better off as friends versus like dating. To me, those are mature adult things, right? When you realize like this, y'all not really heading in the same direction.
And you're not offended.
Exactly.
Because one of the things about the dating process, and I don't think the church talks about this often, because the church often, the institution will often shame people who are unmarried, and that is ridiculous. And they don't encourage dating. They call it courting, right? So every person you meet.
So I don't know if you watch Christian A. Smith, but he talks about that.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh,
you said Christian A. Smith?
He's a controversial guy.
Yeah,
I'm going to send you some of his stuff on TikTok, but
I'm scared.
Teaching that courting.
The courting as opposed to dating, because, and this is how, honestly, like this is how I was married the first time.
But that's dangerous though.
Did you hear me say this is how I was married the first time? I'm not married because I shouldn't have been, not to him. It is very dangerous when you're dating with the concept of my husband got to be found by my husband. Every person you're seeing, is this my husband? And that's very dangerous, which is why that was my formula.
And it's idolization.
It's a lot of things. It's but also, you know, when we talk about red flags, when we talk about the desire to be in a relationship, we need to figure out the origin of our belief systems and how we're operating our MOD, because when we create the red flags, they're based on our experience. Yes. Are you trying to be?
You're not gonna skate around. You gonna stay on the A clause, okay?
I'm trying to
Go
remember what I
back
said, but
and
we
say,
need to really focus when we're thinking about red flags and we're accumulating or creating these red flag lists. When we're thinking about, I need to be married, I want to be married, I want to be with someone, the origin of these belief systems and patterns and where we're getting them from.
yes,
Because if I want to be married because I want somebody to love me for me. I just want somebody to love me. I need to be loved. I want somebody to
yes.
validate me. I'm
But guess
insecure.
what?
I have no
You can't.
self-value.
I think the
I have
problem.
no self-worth. I need somebody to build me up.
Mm-mm.
You should come, again, going back to when we started this, ready-made. You should already be made. You should
But
already
it's
be
not even
okay.
that. If the church taught self-love and self-worth as much as they taught
That
courting,
is the point. That's my main point. Love yourself. First, the Bible tells us to love ourselves, right? God wants us to love ourselves. He wants us to love him. He wants us to love our neighbors, but he wants us to love ourselves too. And that is the point. No person, if a person can make you happy, which is why I said earlier, no one can make me
make you
happy.
happy.
You can add to my happiness. If a person can make you happy, they can make you unhappy. Nobody can make me anything. I will be okay with being married without being married. I've been
Yes.
divorced. I've been single. I've been all the stages except a widower. Thank you, Jesus. I haven't been that. And I'm sorry for anyone who's lost their loved ones,
Yes.
their spouses. That I don't want to experience. I'm sorry for that. But I've been single. I've been married. I've been divorced. I'm married again, And here's the thing. I am more in love with me today than I ever have been in my life. But even before this, before my husband now, I was more in love with me. I loved me. I didn't marry him out of needing him to validate me. So let's assess as we're making these lists. Okay, so we have a list. Red flags, we have preferences, but let's start with number one. The first column I want you to make, why do I want a significant other? If you want
Why
friends,
do I want to be
why do I
married?
want friends? Why do I want whoever
Do
it is you
I
want?
hate being single?
What is your purpose for wanting to add a person to your life?
Yes.
Make sure that as you write that stuff out, if you are a woman and you hate fixing stuff around your house, listen, maybe you need to hire a plumber instead of getting a headache of a whole man in your bed. Maybe you just need an electrician,
that part,
or a landscaper, but you end up with some huge headache. So figure out why, right? And I'm making light of it because yes, I want to be the damsel in distress sometimes, but I had to learn to do that because I was so self-sufficient. It's like Antoine, he had to figure out where he fit. He had to figure out where he fit.
Like I asked you to do this,
and you didn't do it in that time.
Long,
so I do it myself.
I got to go do it myself. And they looking at you like, but I told you I was going. It's me on me.
And
Lord.
Guess what though? Guess what? Here is the part where that having conversations with this person and learning what kind of character this person has. If it's an explosive man who can't hear anything because there's some underlying misogyny there that maybe you didn't even know was there, who is this woman to tell me? That happened with my husband and I. Like it was it my treadmill? It was something. But I asked him and he knows how I am. And I was like, I need you. He's like, don't put that together because he knows how I am. Now he put together my elliptical bike. He did that on his own. And I was so happy. He had to do the, good job. You know how they are.
Yeah.
Good job.
Baby, you really did this.
Yeah, you did that. But the treadmill came and it wasn't really anything to put together. You had to take it out the box, take the plastic out, whatever. It was a pop and really just nothing. But I asked him and it took over a week. And one day he came home and that thing was sitting up. And I'm like, see, I gave you an opportunity. Now, if he couldn't hear anything from me and misogyny and who she is, that would have been a real place of contention for us. But it wasn't because I shared with him like, I want to get on the treadmill. I ordered it because I wanted it. It's been a week. Yeah. So I did it myself. It was not even that much to do. He had to bite that. He had to eat that because I gave you time.
Yeah.
There's my brother.
Yeah, I don't even be giving it that much time.
But that's what I mean. Like,
it'd be like an hour. I be like, oh, yeah, that's okay.
Now you need help. She said an hour.
He be like, Ashley. I'm like, look.
Oh, you need help.
I'm telling you. And it'd be bad. Like, it'd be bad. And I'll be having to ask God to forgive me because I'll be going too far.
Oh, that's too far for real. That's bad. I will give you a few days, a week at the most, because my patience level is not really there. But again, being the gift to each other. And sometimes I have to come down, he's got to come up, or vice versa. Sometimes, because I know I'm dealing with this place of walking in patience more, the only way you increase your patience is to have to wait.
Right.
Right. So, okay, Michelle, wait for a minute. Give the man a minute. After that minute, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it myself because I'm very self-sufficient. So stop playing with me.
Exactly. Exactly.
I respected you enough to give you some time. That was more than an hour. Dig. But did you hear me say that? We are over our hour.
We are.
But the brother is in here talking about he tuned in right in time. I know he can talk about this. Speaking of the brother, and you brought up your brother earlier, Ash and Donnell, we have to do this sibling show.
Oh, I don't know. Yes.
Donnell in here laughing. Did you hear that? We have to get this show scheduled. I really want us to do this for real.
We do.
I would love for us to do it before the end of March. Because I think it's going to help.
The end of March. It is the end of March.
Well, we have another week, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we do.
See, stop playing with me. You know you can't do stuff like that to me. I'm old. I don't know. I'm like, man, this is the end already?
No, next week is the end.
We have another week.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so he said, I think he's talking about you giving the hour. He said, Ash, you mean.
I am. I'm sorry.
Brother, you caught us at the end. We should have been gone for like 10 minutes already, but this was a good show, I think.
It was.
Share this out, y'all. Nina, thanks so much for being here.
You.
And next time I'm going to try to bring you on the screen, Nina. What you think?
Ooh.
But yeah, this is a fun show. Thanks, y'all, for being here. Much. Ash, please close us out. And again, we're healing generations through conversation. He said, he's talking about the show that we have to do. Yes. But we understood for that last one.
We did. But so you can follow me on iamashjanelle on Instagram, as well as Notes with Ash on YouTube, and Ash Janelle on TikTok. You can follow Auntie on iamashjanelle the Voice on Instagram and TikTok. And Coach Michelle Jackson on Facebook. Hey!
You got it,
don't forget to follow and subscribe and comment to our YouTube, the Hey Auntie and Ash Podcast YouTube page. It has been so good to see you guys again. Bye, aunties and uncles and nephews.
Bye, nieces and nephews. Bye, y'all. Bye.